continuity with our previous discussion on anime, I wanted to elaborate on the concept of identity and how identity is understood in anime. The anime Gunbuster is a case study on such phenomena. When we describe reality, we describe it dialectically, as in sense and value. This dialectic is expressed reactively from the context of subjectivity. The problem with this conception of reality is that it's always predicated on an improvable principle that is drenched in the subject's own moral bias. And with this, we enter a conundrum, a contradiction of reason. Reason proving itself through itself. French philosopher Gilles Deleuze responds to this conundrum through the concept of difference, as presented through his interpretation of German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Difference for Deleuze is the metaphysics of multiplicity and where forces act on each other ad infinitum. Through this conception of reality, the task at hand is not to interpret the origin of forces in the traditional reactive, dialectic philosophy, but as Deleuze said himself, to make interpretation an art, or in other words, dismantling the notion of objective truth. Gunbuster, and in a general sense anime, encapsulates this sentiment. The metatextual nature of the medium serves as a language in where multiple signifiers are expressed within one sign. This sign being the beautiful fighting girl, or BFG for short. Gunbuster is a case study of the BFG, where its central theme being that of the contradictions between identity and difference, and how time breaks this false dichotomy. Time is represented in the separation of space, and through the separation, we get a glimpse into the illusion of their reality, as well as the illusion of the BFG. In this video essay, the task at hand is to elucidate the ideal of difference through the semiotic sign, the beautiful finding girl, as expressed in the anime Gunbuster. Before we delve into Gunbuster, I want to give a brief introduction on the thought of Gilles Deleuze, especially in reference to Friedrich Nietzsche. In his second published work, Nietzsche and Philosophy, Deleuze mines the origins of modern philosophical discourse as sense and value. Sense being that of perception, and value being meaning. This is the foundation of Hegelian dialectics, as Hegelianism was popular in mid-20th century French academic philosophy. In his unique interpretation of Nietzsche's eternal return, Deleuze takes Hegelian dialectics to its logical conclusion, the critique of reason itself. Through his critique, the nature of forces and its underlying reality are seen through the forces of pure difference. From this, Deleuze derives Nietzsche's portrayal of the Greek god Dionysus as the god of the primordial state of being, the multifaceted, endless becoming of the will to power. Dionysus gets recontextualized through the kaleidoscope field of the BFG, which in turn sheds a light on the false dialectic of sense and value. As mentioned previously, the beautiful finding girl serves as a sign of pure difference humans experience in the digital, hypermodern age, the essence of information individuals encounter, and how to discern information in a concise way. The BFG, through the otaku, synthesizes material reality with the digital. In this regard, the beautiful finding girl becomes a guardian against value, or the reactive interpretation of value seen through Hegelian dialectics. Anime narratives described by Lacanian psychologist Samahi Saiko are that in which time is counted for in space, with space itself being fragmented in disparate units or codes in which the author gives value to. However, the author in this context shifts, as with the phenomenon of donoshi, or fan comics, gives rise to fan interpretation of popular anime. Interpretation that the BFG symbolizes as she morphs from various personalities of the given otaku. However, with this newly perceived omniscience, quantity supplants quality, as the complexity derived from a single subject is replaced with the intensity of multiple channels of difference. Here is where the true nature of the BFG is exposed, due to hysteric phallic girl. The BFG becomes a paradox. Her organs are disassociated links to a body that has long lost its material reality. What is left is a fiction, an object of reason in where like a wand, conjure up images of meaning only sufficient for reason. Gunbuster shows what happens when you live in a hyperreal, meta-contextual world of digital media and anime. A world where time is merely a reflection of the shock to the dissolution of reality by reactive forces, and how we accommodate this absence through difference. In Gunbuster, time highlights the contradiction between identity and difference. Identity in an anime is expressed through space, while time being Earth. In space, the main character of the narrative, Noriko, ceases to age as she would on Earth. This paradox is captured accurately in episode 3 of the anime, when Noriko and One-sama attend their high school graduation 15 years later to be the only students from their class at the graduation. What they perceive as BFG, which is static and slimitude, harshly contradicts the reality of their situation. Throughout the anime, there are attempts by both characters to reconcile this contradiction. Noriko tries to re-establish her friendship with her former classmate, Kumiko, but is unable due to the excessive amount of time that has passed. One-sama's unrequited love for Coach is nearly prevented from realizing itself due to their need to defend Earth, however, never reconciles. The BFG eventually comes into terms with their particular situation. They become pure difference as seen through Noriko. Noriko is not the Noriko 2015, nor is she Noriko that is Kumiko. Kumiko means 15 years later. The value of Noriko is not represented in any one perspective, but the multiplicity of viewpoints expressed through the constant interactions between her and the rest of the cast. Through her countless interactions, Noriko assumes her role as a BFG, as she is a reminder of the otaku's multi-layered rendition of reality. The otaku chooses difference, as reflected in One-sama's decision at the end of the anime to spend a life and eternity with her lover, Noriko. In the end, what is understood in hypermodernism is that the only constant is difference. For individuals living in a hypermodern epoch, the only way to find stability in the flux of this moment is to accept the impermanence of it, as with Noriko and One-sama at the climax of Gunbuster. We fall back onto our dream, in space, where time itself is merely just an object of our reason. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.